Welcome back. Just to have got an overview, welcome. Thank you so much for keeping it tuned here. Remember, as I always tell you, this is the best place to be, coming to you live every Monday to Friday. But of course, we have got, let's now, as I promised you earlier, let's just have got an overview, like the general overview of maybe from the previous to the last SABA SABA day that we had. So when you look at this, when it's come to maybe the expanded civil liberties, the sacrifices of that day established a precedent for public assembly, significantly expanding the democratic space, freedom of speech, and the public right to demand civic and constitutional reforms. When it's come to the inspiration for modern activism, the legacy of SABA SABA continues to serve as a powerful symbol of people power, constantly invoked by civil society, human rights defenders, and the youth, such as maybe the Gen Z movement, to hold a modern leaders accountable. In as much as people would view people would view SABA SABA in a different angles, but generally it's just a matter of maybe an individual, the affected individual, that's the citizen, having giving out their maybe grievances to the government always. It is therefore remembered that people come large, there is always large turn up of numbers. Then they say that when it comes to the security, these and these people needs to be arrested, and of course we have got police brutality. Generally, people have been showing up to air out their grievances. So comparing maybe the most sectors, or rather the everything that perhaps always rings into the people's mind, insecurity has been there from the word go. As you compare maybe the last SABA SABA and the previous one, these people have been talking about the insecurity, police brutality, and to make it maybe clear, you realize that in as much as they would address these concerns every year, or rather in as much as they would talk of this annually, then there's no changes, because if suppose there could be changes, then at least these themes could be changing, or rather these grievances could be changing, or rather these concerns. So maybe to talk of maybe the disruptions annually, SABA SABA commemorations often trigger public transport analysis, road closures, and localized shutdowns of private businesses. Actually, maybe in Nairobi CBD, and most affected, many shops owners and schools preemptively close out of fear that protest could escalate into maybe riots. And that's actually common to us, because we realize that in as much as you would find some people complaining that police officers are not there, of course they have not been tear gassed. So in Kenya, rather, if you look at the recent maybe protest, there must be chaos. It must erupt into chaos, and therefore it must create alarm to the affected, the business owners, and every individual. Of course, life first. So you must ensure that you are safe wherever you are. So this also leads to a result of maybe low turn up in some points. So when it comes to economic cost, widespread protest or around this day can heavily impact the local economy. State officials often warn that repeated violence disruptions can lead to significant economic losses and data foreign investment. We saw the IG giving some informations earlier before, and of course they ensured that he said that everyone will be protected and businesses should operate normally. But of course, as an individual, rather as a Kenyan citizen, you also have to look in a way that maybe what if the security sector failed to do this? What are you going to do as an individual? Who is going to be responsible for your loss? And that is why most shops were shuttered, to ensure that there is safety in every property. There is no loss, because SABA SABA is just a one-day event, but of course it can trigger so many things. So when you lose a property, who will be accountable for that? In as much as the government ensured security, or rather assured individuals, all the citizens security, and of course the business operators, people had again to relax and ensure that their shops are very safe from this to ensure that everything runs. When it comes to the security and human rights impact, so commemorations can become flashpoints for civil unrest, confrontations between demonstrators and the public. And the police have historically led to mass arrest, injuries, and severe instances, fatalities, and enforced disappearance. Look at what compare what these people were fighting for. You realize we had got police brutality. The instance remained. We have got an unclear arrest that was there, and it was still practiced. So it simply means that maybe now it is our culture that we are making it as a culture that every Saba Saba we have to fight for police brutality. Yet it still exists. We have to talk of high cost of living. Yet it still exists. We have to talk maybe like abductions. Yet it still exists. So it has been there for when you look at this keenly, it has been there for over 30 years. So realizes that the theme has never changed. In as much as the days changes and of course year changes, but you look at the grievances, it has never changed. So does it mean that maybe the government is not doing the right thing, or rather the government is not listening to the human right, or rather the activities, or rather the needs of a particular country? Because if suppose we would say that we have a government that listens to us, then we say something once, we don't have to repeat it in 10 years to come, or rather in 2 years, in 10 consecutive years. If suppose there is a responsible body that needs to, that acts with immediate effect and will give us all that we needed as a country, or rather as individuals, then we say that security sectors is being affected. We are not secure. We are not secured at all. The properties are being destroyed. What needs to be done? Then the government says, okay, when it comes to the security, we have got this number of population. As generally, we have got this number of population. But again, let's narrow it down and say that in as much as we have got maybe, for example, we have got a population of maybe 53 million. Then we say that for each member of a country, okay, for 53 millions to be well protected and rather secured with all their properties, then we need this number of police officers, or rather we need this exact number of security agencies. Then they are employed, or rather they are deployed everywhere to ensure that everyone is secured. When we talk of maybe the high cost of living, then we say that, okay, we are facing high cost of living, and as a country, since this is something that affects most of our people, what are we going to do as a country to ensure that we reduce this cost of living? Then we say that no, we need to, as we speak, out of this 53 million, maybe 30 or rather 40. Or maybe 10 million are employed, and we have got 5 who are young individuals. Then we say that, okay, can we maybe increase the rate of employment? Then how are we going to create these job opportunities? We find a solution that as a country we are going to create a job opportunities for these 10 individuals, and this is how we are going to do that, so that we avoid repetition of in every year. Because when we talk of over 30 years talking about the same thing, then even if a president serves for 2 terms, then it means that this president only serves for 10 years. So the president, the particular president served for 10 years, then he never, we assume that maybe he never sorted these problems. He never gave out any solution in terms of police brutality, in terms of maybe health sector, in terms of high cost of living. As you enter as you being elected by your members of a country as a president, then you sit down and say, no, when these people were fighting over police brutality, high cost of living, they said this and this. So as an individual, how am I going to help you people to ensure that at least we don't talk of the same in the next future year, or rather in the next 1 year? That should be the scenario. But now when fighting for and for one thing for over 10 years, and now the new government comes in, assumes everything, the next government comes in and assumes everything, then we are not heading anywhere as a country. We are not going anywhere as a nation. we have to have got a systematic government. We need to have there's need to have a government that listens to its people. We need to have a government that responds with immediate effect to every sector that happens. When we take a country as a whole, then when we come up with solutions to every problem that is rising, then we will have to talk of different things in a different year, because as we speak by now, if these things if these grievances were the same 1 year ago, which is just maybe some few months ago, then by now we could be talking of something else. But you realize that over 10 years or over 20 years, we've been talking of the same thing. There's need to avoid that repetition, and that only comes when we have got a government that doesn't respond to its people. And this is something that shouldn't be politicalized, because when we bring politics everywhere, then as a country we can't move in any way forward. Compare this, comparing yesterday with maybe other SABA SABA day that we had, or rather maybe the previous one that was in 2025. I would say that yesterday was a peaceful one. I would say it was peaceful as compared to the previous one. I would say that it was peaceful. Not that it was totally peaceful, but now as compared to previous one, I would say that it was peaceful. We saw that maybe there were around 10 arrests, but as compared to the previous ones, there were several arrests, uncountable arrests, and yesterday it was just confirmed that around 10 arrests happened. But in as much as also there were no changes in terms of maybe the appearances of unmarked vehicle, and rather in every sector, this has never changed as compared to before. So with that one, I can say that the security agencies, you need to react and do better, so that we ensure that as you bring security agencies to the field, you teach them, or rather you inform them that we are going to do this, and we are going to ensure that these people are protected. As much as they are protected, we have to we also have to maybe encounter with them. You have to talk to them and give them maybe the limit that you have to reach there, you have to reach here, so that we also avoid disruptions at all cost. Because the reality is that when we are having these SABA SABA days, or rather the protest all the time, even the individuals who are not actively participating, they have to be affected. Someone's business is maybe destroyed. He or she wasn't there. The business or that the shop was shattered. But of course, since he wasn't there, he was just at home. He loses the property. Who is there? Who will compensate him or her? Eventually, nobody. People will come and say, no, these people need to be compensated. A year goes. Can you take 5 years for? They may take 3 years to talk of compensation. Does it mean that you are going to shut down your business for 3 years as a way to be compensated? No, life has to go on. You have to find a way to ensure that the business is running. So generally, in as much as this was a little bit peaceful as compared to the previous one, but of course businesses were affected just on the contrary with the previous ones that we've been having as a nation. And I would like to say that perhaps because it has been it's being done annually, let the human activists, or rather the human rights and activists, everyone that needs the political leaders, the leaders generally, could we have got a different grievance coming next year? Let's not have police brutality every. Of course, when the government doesn't okay, if by then it will still be a situation that, well, we can't talk about it. But again, the government, you also need to take action, respond with immediate effect, so that we ensure that at least we don't repeat the same thing yearly, or rather annually. I've been your host, one and only DEDAN Jack Arevi, coming to you live. It's the hot seat every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I appreciate having you. Remember to keep on live in Swechotv. You can reach us through our email, swechotv@gmail.com. you can also call us to the number below your screen, and of course we have provided all the required details that you can reach us through in that screen. Thank you so much for keeping it live. Thank you so much. We'll always keep it in Swecho TV coming to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your effort. We meet tomorrow, but of course don't leave. We will have a lot to bring to you. We also have the launch that will be coming to you live at 3 p.m. Thank you.